Hey guys, Matthew here. In today's video, I basically want to introduce you guys to the ultimate Path of Exile tool. So if you've been around for a while, this is not going to be any sort of new content. Around 8 months ago on my YouTube channel, I made a series called the Casual Exile series, which started as exactly that, a bunch of videos for casual players on how to get started with the game, leveling a little bit quicker, preparing for maps, stuff like that. But it actually kept scaling and scaling and scaling to where we actually ended up doing some pretty advanced stuff like Atlas farming and even flipping strategies and stuff like that that can net you multiple mirrors over the course of a league. So the reason why I'm making this video is for the people who haven't been around for that long, who just don't know that this tool is available to them. So what this is a Google document. It'll be linked in the description of this video. It's public, it's free. You can just click out on it and, you can access all of this information. So I just want to give you guys a quick, basically, rundown of what's actually available here. So you have a page dedicated to tips, tricks, and tools on what you should be using in terms of third-party programs or what you could be using when playing PoE. So for example, things like Excellence to keep track with your currency gains, things like your trade macro, things like even, for example, there's been a bunch of third-party tools made by the community to help you level. So there are tools that will put an overlay of the different layouts as you're progressing through the campaign to help you just do it that much faster. Some third-party tools were made as overlay to let you put in a bunch of notes so that you never forget anything as you're leveling. For example, which skill gems you want to get after which quest, stuff like that. There's been some really cool tools made, so all of those are listed under tips and tools. After that, there's a complete how to level, or like a roadmap for each of the 10 acts. It'll look something like this, for example, right? It's going to be a step-by-step on how to level, and then in some cases, I've also put like little pictures or little drawings of what the layout looks like. So if it's a layout that you're prone to getting lost in, well, it's going to have a nice little drawing. Well, maybe it's not that nice, but it's going to have a little bit of a drawing to show you how to navigate that layout properly in order for you to just do it that much faster. I fully believe that if you're somebody who gets to maps in, say, 12 hours, by just having this opened as you're progressing through the game and just following every step-by-step, you will cut down your leveling time by at least an hour or two, even with absolutely zero practice. So yeah, I think that it's pretty good to use, but it's some very entry-level stuff, not really for veteran players. There's also a guide on how to prepare yourself to face maps, so what you want to be looking at, maxing out your resistances, which flasks are very, very useful or even required for maps, and this does take into consideration the changes that are coming to 3.16. I did update that. Actually, the entire thing has been updated to reflect the changes in 3.16, including even the Atlas farming strategies, so no questions there. There's a guide on how to progress through your Atlas. Now, one thing about 3.16 is the Atlas is getting cut in half, but technically the exact same method is going to be applied on how to progress your Atlas. It is still going to be the leapfrog strategy. It's just going to be a lot simpler now, because instead of having to leapfrog in 8 different regions, you'll only have 4 different regions. But I do think that this is still going to be the way to go. There's a guide on how to price items, sell, and of course, most efficiently track your currency gains. So how to use Excellence, how to set that up, how to price your items, if it's a rare, if it's a unique, selling items in bulk, stuff like that. So how to be efficient with any sort of trading that you're going to be doing. A few very low investment currency making guides. So we're talking about corrupting very cheap items into potentially multiple exalts. How to do faded uniques in order to get a lot of currency. Now this is going away next league. We know that we're losing prophecy, so right now is the time to take advantage of it as it's still available. Item upgrades. So for example, upgrading breach stones with their respective blessings. You can actually make currency just doing that. You buy the breach stone, you buy the blessings, you apply the blessing, you resell the breach stone that has a higher tier, and for some reason you're making profit while doing that, right? It's not always the case, but it's a possibility. And some flipping related stuff. There's a guide on how to figure out where you should be spending your time and what you should be farming. This is basically based on your character, based on what you enjoy, stuff like that. There's a complete guide to efficiency, including all tips and tricks that I myself use in order to waste the least amount of time possible when online. So this could be things like rolling your maps in bulk. This could be things like, essentially hideout is lava is what we like to call it in the Path of Exile community. So all the tips regarding that. There's a full guide to Betrayal and how to maximize profit via farming safe houses or the Mastermind. So if you're farming the Mastermind, you're looking for level 4 masters like Ashling, for example, or if you're farming safe houses, you're looking for level 3 masters. Typically right now, Mastermind is just better because Ashling is Ashling is by far the highest, I guess you could say, amount of currency that you can make, even despite the changes to Ashling in 3.15, where it removes a modifier. No matter what, it is still worth 2 to 3 exalts. So it's not quite as it was before, but it's still a very, very good strategy. There's a guide on how to farm blighted maps. So this is not the blighted maps themselves, it's how to farm for blighted maps. So obviously this is an Atlas region guide. There's basically a guide on how to maximize your profit with Harvest. Every single one of the bases with links. Oh, I can show you guys what that looks like. So for example, with Harvest, I've made this guide with every single thing that you want to have in order to maximize your profit, so that when you're doing the harvest, you have access easily to all the things that you need to maximize your profit, but also every single bases with the link, with the proper item level and all that good stuff that you need for reforges. So if you're ever like, oh, I have a reforge attack, I don't really know what I should use it on, well, there you go. Medium exerted attacks, for example, belts, shaper quivers for +1 arrow, medium flask cluster for, I don't remember the node, the name of the node, right? Stuff like that. So this has been pretty much up to date. Now there are some things that are probably missing. I mean, cluster jewels are pretty hard to keep track of because every league, some of them become obsolete, and every league, some of them just kind of come out of nowhere. But for the most part, it's pretty much almost entirely up to date. If there's any that I've missed, feel free to let me know in the description. If there's any that are still there that are not super great, also feel free to let me know. It's impossible for me to just keep track of every single one, but I can guarantee you that the vast majority of them are up to date. There's also a guide on farming essences. Now, I think that this is a very, very good strategy with the upcoming 3.16 Atlas and what we know so far of the clusters, basically, of notables of what you'll be able to get. I think Essence is going to be a really, really good one, especially paired with the Sextant for Remnants of Corruption. Again, all of this, if it sounds like Chinese, is all in this document. And again, it's completely free. I've put a lot of time into this, so I just think that more people should be using it. So I figured I would refresh your memories. If you knew this did exist, and if you didn't know that it does exist, well, now you do. So it's a great resource. Again, probably the ultimate Path of Exile guide in a single location that you could ever ask for. And now that it's completely up to date, you don't have to wonder whether, this is good or this is good, or whether the information is relevant or not. Now, there are some changes that are going to be coming in 3.17, especially when we drop the prophecies. That's probably when we're going to lose prophecies as a mechanic entirely. But we're not quite there yet. So again, everything right now is good to go. So you can plug and play with everything that I've put in here. And of course, I just hope that it allows every single one of you who uses this resource to make more currency and of course to enjoy the game more via being more efficient, or just being able to purchase items and stuff that you weren't able to before. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and yeah, before I go, as always, I do want to say a huge thank you to my supporters. So Kat, Alex, Brandon, Nate, the second Alex, Flame Scorpion, Neroth, Grimoire, The Great Master, Johnny, Thomas Mass, Reese, Tim, Axel, Road to Millions, Edicus, Scott, Stan, Zerashi, Welcome Back, Wolverine, Ronald, Kevin, the third Alex, Bitizen, and Mercury, as well as, of course, anybody else who supported me in the past, and anybody else who wishes to remain anonymous. Hopefully this resource helps you out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.